So they have a little scanner called Color Snap.
I get these like crazy projects in my head, and I'm not afraid to put holes in the wall. I literally have it all over my hands.
The sap is bleeding through the paint. Hi friends, welcome to Summer Hill, or welcome back to Summer Hill. I am on a quest to figure out this paint color. I get asked all the time, what is this paint color? And I've told people Bone White by Benjamin Moore because I'm almost 100% sure it's a Benjamin Moore paint. And Bone White was one of my favorite colors to use a long time ago. This paint has been up here, I don't know, probably over a decade. Now, paint does change over time. Like, it won't stay true to that color. It will maybe darken or lighten depending upon the amount of light in the room. So I went and got this sample Bone White. It did not match. It is quite a bit lighter and quite a bit more yellow. So either this paint has changed significantly over time, or it's the wrong color. Now, I also, a couple of weeks ago, went room by room, and we made a list of things I wanted to do. And in this room, I wanted to repair all the holes above my bay window in my living room, because I had a window treatment, like a swag curtain up there that was in the jewel tones. Do y'all remember the jewel tones? And there was another spot where I had literally nails side by side, where I had nailed some fabric for like a panel to go down each side. So my next step in the process is we've got to figure out what color this is. And I went to Sherwin Williams. So they have a little scanner called Color Snap, and it goes with an app on their website. And basically, all you do is you have to pull up the app. Sorry, I've got a chair in between us. So all you have to do is pull up the app and connect it to your scanner. Then you click it twice on the top until it starts doing this blue color. Then on the bottom, you have to unscrew to open the lens. So this protects the lens. So as you can see, it's protecting it. So I can unscrew it to do that. And then all I do is put this on the wall, and I click the button to scan on my phone. And then it'll scan, and it gives me multiple color options. And it will also show on a scale how close of a match it is. So far in my limited use of it, it's not going to give me a formula for this color, but it gives me a close color. Now my next step is I'm going to go to my laptop, and I'm going to a website that matches colors. So I'm pulling up this color, and let's see what it pairs with Benjamin Moore, because I'm curious to see if it's a color I recognize. If it's a color I recognize, then I know I've got my color for this room. Okay, so I go to this website. It's called matchmypaintcolor.com. And I'm going to type in one of the colors. So I went around the room and I scanned multiple spots. But the most important place I scanned was where I want to touch up the paint. So Urban Putty was one of the options. So I'm going to pull that up, and then I'll click on Sherwin Williams Urban Putty, and I'll look at Benjamin Moore, and it's saying Royal Flax. Royal Flax does not ring a bell, so I don't think it's this color. So let's go back and let's try the other color option, which was Beach Cumber. And that comes up. I'll open it.
Royal Flax. This does not ring a bell to me. So I would say this is not the color I'm looking for. I think it's a little bit lighter than this. So I'm going to now I'm going to search Benjamin Moore Royal Flax. So let's see, Benjamin Moore Royal Flax. Oh, look, natural linen. That rings a bell. Okay, so I went out and got my paint samples, but we're going to look up natural linen and let's see if it is a match. 966. So we're going to take this out of here and I'm going to get you guys closer so we can see if we have a match. I like this spot because you can see the color nicely up against the white, but this is my sample here, and look, we have a match. So we're gonna head to Ace Hardware, get some natural linen. So I wanted to show you, it's very helpful to see this. Natural linen is right here, and it's sandwiched right in between the browns and like these neutrals. So it's like a yellow color.
You could just test it on there, and I could take it back before I buy it.
Just hits into those brown tones. So it's a good neutral color. Okay, so I went to Ace Hardware and I got this sample can. They covered the front with a sticker, but I got it mixed in natural linen. And he said that this particular sheen is in between eggshell and satin, so that should be fine because I am 100% sure I used eggshell on my walls because that was all I used overall on walls when I designed houses a decade ago, because this was at least a decade ago. Okay, so you're gonna need your touch-up paint. You're gonna need some spackle. You just need like a artist paintbrush, craft paintbrush, and a sandpaper. So I'm gonna go change my clothes because I don't want to get anything on my dress, and then we'll head over and start touching up this wall. Yay! I'm so glad, y'all. This has been like eating at me for years. That's how long it's been up there, but nobody can really see it. I know it's there, so let's get this project done. I just had such a good idea. I want to show you guys. Let me turn it around. Okay, I put my bench that goes to my table here because then as I work on it, I can just walk down the bench and I can reach the holes. I'm going to show you these holes so you can see. So these are the upper ones up here. See them? See they're big. The bigger ones are up here. And then these are the million small ones. I get these like crazy projects in my head, and I'm not afraid to put holes in the wall because I know it's super easy to touch up. So that was one of my crazy projects. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to sand over the holes, because sometimes when you put a nail in, it like has parts of the sheetrock that sticks out. So we want it nice and smooth before we spackle the holes. Okay, so this hole here, see how it's protruding out? So I'm gonna take this hammer and I'm gonna push it back in. Now I take my sanding block and I sand over it just to get it nice and smooth. See how that's sticking out? Oh, you don't have you on there. I just want to make sure there's no fabric sticking out, that it's nice and flat, like that. Okay, so the next step is, now that we got them good and smooth, my next step is I take some of this spackle. I do not use a putty knife. I just take a pinch of the spackle on my finger like this, and then I just wipe it in the hole, and then I use this finger that doesn't have spackle on it, and I rub over it to smooth it out. So I basically just put it in that hole, and then you want to smooth it out like that. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go wash my hand because I literally have it. I've got hair in my face. I literally have it all over my hands. See where I've been wiping it off with the sides? So I'm gonna go wash my hands so that I can do the rest of it, and it'll be nice and clean because it's getting hard to wipe it off with my hand when I do it. Okay, so while that's drying, we're going to test out the paint color. I've got a little patch of it right here. So I'm gonna go eat lunch. We're gonna let the spackle dry. We're gonna let this paint dry, and then we're gonna come back and see if we have the right paint color. Okay, so I'm finished with lunch, and I'm going to start painting. But I do want to show you first, I touched up the wall right here. And you can see it much more clearly on this camera that it is not a perfect match than you can in real life. You can almost not see it in real life, but you can see it much more on this camera. And then I touched up right here and put one coat. So I'm gonna try 2 coats and see if 2 coats does better over here. But I'm gonna keep going, and if I can't get this to match this way or the other way I shared earlier, we may have to paint this whole room. That's okay. It's been here over a decade, so it's okay. While this is drying, we're gonna start working on touching up the bookcases because that was on my list too. So my bookcases, here, let me show you. They have knots, they're pine. And when I originally painted them, I did not put any kind of shellac primer on them or anything to keep those knots from the sap from bleeding through. So I've got to go back and fix that. So let me show you. As you can see here, there's an example of what I'm talking about. So those are pine knots, and the sap is bleeding through the paint, and it does not look pretty. So I'm going to use this shellac primer, and I'm going to use a sponge brush and a little bit of sand, a sanding block. And basically, I'm gonna go and sand all of these little knots. I've gotta clear everything off these shelves where the knots are. Oh, I gotta show you these adorable. We're gonna put these on our Etsy shop. They're the cutest little ghost pieces of art, and I haven't decided what to do with them yet, but aren't they adorable? So there's my table. And I'm trying to organize it by shelves. So this is the top shelf right here. And this is the next shelf, and then the next shelf. Because I'm probably not going to put anything back on these shelves until tomorrow. I want to let it dry for a good 24 hours.
sale. Look at them, they're like handmade. They had like a design on them, and I was testing out paint colors for my kitchen. So they both are very different, but I need to match them. I need to paint them to match. Okay, look at this. I'm gonna have to work on that. So I'm gonna sand this really good, see if I can get some of it off. And then I'll just put that shellac primer on it. But look how dark those knots are. This is years and years of these knots just bleeding through the paint. It's a mess. The whole thing really should be painted, but I don't have time for that. I got everything sanded, even underneath here. It's like if it was up there, it's most likely under here. Anyways, crazy. So I'm gonna take my little sponge brush and I'm going to paint over all the knots with this shellac. Now it's very runny. So what I do is, as I'm painting, I kind of keep this little top over it so I don't splatter like on my floor anywhere where I don't want it to go. Okay, so I finished touching up all the spots with the shellac primer. So now I'm gonna go get my extra white Sherwin Williams paint and we're going to paint over all those spots, and fingers crossed it'll cover. Okay, this looks so much better. So much better. There's no knots on it anywhere. You know, I didn't paint the whole thing, so it's not necessarily perfect, but it is 100% better, especially over here. I'm not sure if I showed you guys, but there were like some big knots on the sides. So I'm excited. Now, I did this bookcase yesterday. It's completely done. And I did most of this bookcase, but I just touched up a few places here and here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back on this one, and then we'll do the other one. So I wanted to show y'all, this is one of our printables that we painted ghost on a public domain piece of art. Isn't it cute? And we have we just painted another ghost completely. I'm gonna show him to you. Probably won't be in Etsy yet, but as soon as he is, we'll put a link in it. So I tried out using the scanner by Sherwin Williams, matching the color, cross-referencing that. I showed you all that. And it did not do as good. As you can see here,
It is much lighter. I actually should have stayed with the Royal Flax suggestion that Match said, instead of searching Google, and I came up with the linen color. The natural linen, I think, possibly was this color, but as time, we're talking over a decade or more, I think the paint has changed color over time. Possibly. The other possibility is I should have gone with the Royal Flax. I shouldn't have gone down that other rabbit hole. But I can say, out of going that method and taking a sample off the wall, taking it to the paint store, having them scan it and mix you paint is going to be your closest match. But the problem I had with that was I took the sample from behind the bookcase, but I should have taken the sample off of one of these walls out here. Behind the bookcase, it's never seen any sun. It's kind of been shaded all this time, so the paint color possibly didn't change, whereas it may have changed out here. I don't know. But that was the closest match I have found so far. More so than me using the scanner and matching that way. So, got the paint on the bookcase finished, got the walls patched, even though I need to go get the other paint and do those spots again. I think we're done with this room. So it's late in the day, and I thought you might like to see all the holes patched in my living room. And the bookcases are free of ugly, sappy knot holes. So next week, keep our fingers crossed, I'm going to share what I thrifted over the year for fall, and we'll do some decorating. Thank you so much for joining me here today, and I hope you enjoyed watching and got some help on touching up paint. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. I hope you are having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.